Okay, we have a finished composition, portfolio composition, at least part of it. I have some on another artboard and you can't see it right now. But for the most part, you are bringing in each one of your pieces of artwork and you're setting it up in a template to be printed and assembled. This is a finished work. If you notice, if I click on each piece, you'll notice that you have a rounded rectangle, the art piece, and the circle. So you'll be going through the steps of how to bring the artwork in, how to do the clipping mask, and how to do the grouping. If you notice over here, anytime that I click on a project, that you'll see the name of the project in your layers palette. So please make sure that your artwork matches each layer. All right, let's get started. I'll move over to another artboard. I don't want to use the second artboard because I do have something there. It's just that I've turned off the visibility. I'll use this particular artboard here. I'm bringing this back onto the artboard. Move this one up a little bit. All right. So if you notice, I've already created a new layer named Reggie's Self-Portrait because I'll be using one of my students' work to complete this demo. All right, so let's do the first thing. First things first, let's go in, make your new layer, name it of the artwork, go to the template layer, and turn it on. And I'm going to make a copy of my template. Go to Edit Copy, and then I'm going to click on the layer that I want my copy to paste into. And then I'll Edit Paste, or Command V for paste. I'll turn off the original template, and this is just a template that we'll continue to copy because any of the other templates that we're using throughout it becomes part of the group. So we don't want to have to keep going in and taking things from the clipping mask and clipping everything out. So let's make sure that we keep that layer clear. All right. If you notice when I select it, that there's no fill, and there's a red stroke. All right, let's bring in the artwork. Still have Reggie's Self-Portrait layer selected. We'll go to File, and we'll place. Find our file, looking for Reggie, original. Once you select your artwork, you want to make sure that link and template are not selected. And go to place. If you notice, this window comes open and it says Place PDF. Illustrator automatically saves a PDF file with the original Illustrator file. So when you're trying to place another Illustrator file into an Illustrator file, it brings it up as a PDF instead of an Illustrator file. So we're going to go in and we're going to make sure that we select art. If anything else is selected, make sure you have art selected. And you press OK. And if you have a large work, sometimes it takes a little longer to bring the artwork in. All right, so we have Reggie's work. If we notice, Reggie's work is in landscape. So just like the artwork here to the left, I am going to rotate it so that it becomes portrait. If you hold your shift key down, you'll notice that it'll rotate in increments. All right, so our next thing is we're going to resize the artwork. Make sure that you're holding down your shift key to resize your artwork. I don't want any distorted pieces, so you want to make sure that you hold down your shift key. And yes, people, I can tell when your artwork has been distorted. And I'm going to pull this down just a tad bit. Just a little. All right. Good. I think I'll keep it there. All right. Now, before we do the actual clipping mask step, we want to go in and we want to get rid of, I'm going to go ahead and open this up so that I can make sure that I'm on the right thing. If you notice, you have Reggie's Self-Portrait, that's just the name of the layer. You have two groups within that layer. You have the group of the artwork and you have the group that's the template. Always make sure that the template group is on the top within that layer. All right. Another thing that we want to do now is we want to select the template. Select the template, and we're getting ready to enter isolation mode so that we can delete, we can cut the circle out, because when you're doing a clipping mask, you need to only have two shapes, the one that's cutting and the object that's being cut. So we don't want any confusion. So we're going to double click. When you enter into isolation mode, you'll notice that everything's kind of whited out, and you also have this extra gray strip here that tells you where you are. I'm in Reggie's self-portrait layer, and I'm inside of a group. All right, so what I want to do is I want to click on your circle, and I'm going to go to Command X or Edit Cut. All right, then I'm getting out of isolation mode. All right, now the next step is to go ahead and do the clipping mask step. So I'll select my template, which is the rounded rectangle without the circle, and my artwork. Go to Object, Clipping Mask, Make. Now we have the artwork inside of the shape of the template. Next, or one of the last things to do is to copy your circle back into place. Your circle has to be in the same place consistently throughout this whole project so that when you do the cutting, that everything lines up. So I'll go to I'll go to Edit, Paste in Place, or simply Command F. Now if you notice, and this happened before, if you notice it pasted in place, but it placed somewhere other than where it's supposed to be. If this happens, delete your circle. You want to go back to the isolation mode, and then you want to go to Edit, Paste in Place. If you notice, the circle is in the right place. So if you run into that, please make sure that you go back to the isolation mode and then paste the circle into place. All right, now that we have everything together, if we notice, let's move. And everything moves together. We don't even have to do the group if you have to go through this step. I know prior to that, if you look at the directions, which I may change, I had you guys to group it. But the only reason we were grouping was because when I originally did the Edit Paste in Place for the circle, it actually pasted in place where I deleted it out. However, I've been running into some issues with that, and it's inconsistent. That process was inconsistent. Going back into the isolation mode and pasting it into place within the isolation mode will actually work better. So don't forget, if you run into that problem, go back and enter the isolation mode. So let's go over here and look at what we have. So now if I zoom out, here are my artworks. This particular artboard is saved for the text, which we'll be coming to. I'll turn those layers on just so you can see how things are going to be laid out. So you'll have your images, and then you'll have the text for your descriptions, your title and your descriptions. Then you'll have the rest of the artwork, and then your copy will complete the same thing. When I say copy, it's just copying the shape. You would actually still have to go in and do the typing. There's some extra steps to getting it to turn vertically or portrait. So we'll address that once we get to writing the text. Right now we're going to concentrate on setting up all of the artwork within this particular composition book. And so this is it. I'll be grading everything in pieces or parts. So every class period when you come in, you'll have a small warm-up, and then you go right into the class assignment, which is bringing your artwork into the portfolio composition, and then setting everything up. And then as we go through bringing in all the images and doing the clipping mask, we'll come back to the writing portion of the project. Once everything is put into the portfolio comp, then that's when we'll get ready to print and assemble our portfolios. So that's it for Computer Graphics 1 and Computer Graphics 2 portfolio setup.